Hi. So I want to welcome you to 2023. And this is a very spontaneous live. I hadn't really planned to do any more because I had a massive transition that took place within the last just few weeks. And that's why this is my newest miraculous story, one that I did not see coming. I was planning on just regularly sharing the miraculous stories that I've collected over the decades and just sharing those with you every few weeks. And that was my plan with this channel. And then one day I found myself saying, perhaps to you, perhaps in the last video that I did on here, I found myself saying, okay, but this is not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. And then it just hit me for the first time. Why aren't I? Why aren't I a financial advisor? Why haven't I gotten myself trained and prepared and licensed and certified so that I can give out financial advice, since I find myself saying those statements quite frequently and for many years? In fact, the reason that I retired from business consulting 5 years ago was because I found that last year that I was more excited about the potential for investing to bring financial well-being than business. And as a business consultant, no matter what else you're doing, fundamentally, you're helping your clients make more money. And so if I think that the way for them really to make more money is to focus less on the business and more on investing whatever profit they've got, it was kind of hard being a business consultant because that's not what they were coming to me for and not what I was even qualified to help them with. So yeah, so I had that clarification. And so that very day, I started just looking online for what it would take to actually become a financial advisor. And I found some things like basically leading to CFP. That was kind of where I landed, would be my particular type. There are lots of different things. There's investment advisor, there's CFP, CFA, CFP, and there are a few different things. But I decided that CFP would be the track that I would want, where you kind of look at the entire picture of the person's life and just say, how do I give this person peace of mind so that they know that for any eventuality, their money's going to be okay, their physical security, as relates to shelter and food and housing and healthcare, is going to be okay. And so that you look at more than just investing as a financial planner. So I decided that's the path I wanted. And so I started researching, okay, how do you do that? And I found out that, there was more schooling that I would need, maybe about 9 months additional schooling that I would need. And I would need to pay for that. And then I would need, once I got the first license, the SIE, which I could do on my own, I still would need to get employed by someone so that I could get sponsored for the Series 7. And then I would also need, I think, either the 63 or 65. I forget which one of those. And that, again, you have to have an employer. And then I would also need some years of experience before I could get the certification. So it was like, okay, so basically I need to go back to school, then I need to get a job, and then I can get onto this track. And then some years into it, I can get to where I could do what I really want to do. And so I started thinking about that. And so the next day, when I was reflecting on this, I researched it and looked at programs I might do and had requested some information from those programs. But then the next day, I just started thinking about it and I was like, but I don't want to go back to school. And then I don't want to wind up like, I just don't want the whole thing. I don't want to do it. Like, if I'm going to make this transition at this point in my life, having already retired, someone's going to have to pay me to do this. And so I started looking for that. I went online and just started looking for that. And by that evening, I had found it. And so I created a resume, because I haven't had a resume in a very long time. When you have your own business, you don't have a resume. The clients don't ask for your resume. They ask for references from other clients. Right. So for a very long time. And then I'd been retired the last 5 years. So I hadn't even stayed in contact with clients, actually, except for a couple that I'd become friends with. So I had to put it all together. And so I did. And I got the resume off by Friday evening. And Monday morning, I woke up with the phone ringing. And it was this company, and they were inviting me in for an interview. And so I interviewed, by Zoom, or actually it was by phone, the very next morning, the Tuesday morning. And then they scheduled me for a follow-up Zoom interview with a couple people for the next week. So I did that next Thursday. And then the very next day, the Friday, I got the offer, the verbal offer. So basically 2 weeks exactly to the day from when I said, "You know what? I want someone to pay me to learn this and to embark upon this career and give me all the things I'll need to get all the way to certification," right? 2 weeks from the time that I clarified that that was what I wanted, it was offered to me. Now, granted, I've got experience. I mean, obviously, I'm later. I've retired already. I'm late in my career, so applying for an entry level, like just trainee track towards something, um, I'm I'm an attractive candidate, obviously, but it was just that it was the right thing at the right time, right? There are other things that I might apply for that I wouldn't necessarily get any traction whatsoever. And then interestingly enough, right after that, like within a couple days of that, I got an offer from some folks. I don't want to give out too much information. But a major spiritual community slash ashram slash global service organization contacted me, and they said, we're having these people come for a week, like 20 people globally, and we're going to host them for a week at the ashram in India. And all you have to do is get to the airport, and we'll take you on from there, and we'll take care of you the whole week, and then we'll return you to the airport a week later. And we just want you to be our guest. And this is to thank you for your service and everything that you've done. And this is an organization I have volunteered with and written for and done presentations for. And I know them personally. I've known them for over a decade. And it was such a clear no. And I really had to reflect on it overnight to know why it was a no so that I could get back to them. So I just gave them a hint that it was probably a no, but that I would get back to them the next day. And I did. The very next morning. I just told them, I could not come to you open-handed right now. And that is the only way I would want to accept the offer you just made. Because the reality is, I'm in a place, the reason I'm wanting to go into this track of this job at all and going back to work, period, is because I'm hungry to be able to give more. I've spent the last 5 years trying to give and doing nothing but receiving. It's been crazy. It's been insanely frustrating. Like I keep trying to, offer myself on the board of directors of different organizations, which is something, I did in California, have been able to make no progress. Got invited to be on the Rotary Club when I was in Taos, but they met at like 6 o'clock on Wednesday mornings. My retirement does not include being anywhere at 6 a.m. Let me just tell you that. So yeah, that was a no, but that was the only offer I got. Every place else that I tried to reach out to just to volunteer, I couldn't really get any traction. And this went on for years. And then I started giving Bodhi, and I tried to get that kind of nonprofit rewards program going where people would donate to charities here. And then, people who want to volunteer for charities, but doing what they like and are good at, not what charities need, they would give free services to the donors to the nonprofits. And so that way they were helping the nonprofits. Tried that for 2 years. It just never got off the ground. Just no traction. Got my mediation certifications, got two different kinds, trying to go on the path towards being a peace builder, down the road, just starting with mediation and moving towards being able to mediate bigger and bigger conflicts over the years. Could get no traction, could not get any of my state in my state, get any of the mediation centers to even return my calls or messages. Nothing for months. Um, just was receiving, but could not get the opportunity to really consistently give. I've been helping lots of people in the last few years in lots of different ways, but it's all, a little of this, a little of that, right? But to really be able to give as much as I have to give, to feel like my capacity is really being used enough to feel satisfied, that wasn't happening. And so, yeah, once I got this opportunity, once I had the clarity, this is how I want to help, and this is the structure for it. And then it just manifested so quickly. And then boom, as soon as that manifested, here they're offering me into this situation. And I realized, again, I don't want to name drop, but the other people who would be there, who will be there, who are actually there about now. I think it starts in a day. Those people are names you would know. Like if you have anything to do with spirituality and books that are written about that and the people who are well known for that, you would know these names. And I could not run with them and not be trying to leverage the opportunity into something more because I'm hungry for the opportunity to contribute. And so I would be trying to use them as a part of that opportunity rather than coming in just to fill up. Like that's what we're being invited. They're all saying, you've given enough. Come here. Let us take care of you. We're going to just wait on you for a week and bless you back for a week. That's the opportunity. And I'm not ready for that opportunity because I've done nothing but that for the last 5 years. And I'm hungry for something else. And so I told them a much shorter version of this. I basically just said, look, I couldn't come empty handed right now and open handed. I couldn't come open handed right now. And that's the only way I'd want to say yes. So I hope you'll think of me again next year because I feel like I'll be ready next year. And I do, because I'll spend the next year doing nothing but giving. After I get the license, first I'll be receiving. Like this, they're going to train me. They have like an entire built out training program, and the first 6 months, it's all about me receiving yet again to be trained and then get licensed. But then after that, the 6 months that comes after that is going to be all me giving. I'm going to be prepared to be able to competently give, and then 40 hours a week. If only it could be part time, but no. Uh, so yeah, 40 hours a week, I'll be doing nothing but giving. And so by the time next winter comes around, because they do it once a year, and I said, yeah, please, I hope that they will. I hope that they will invite me again next year. So yeah, that's my latest miraculous story and probably my last live. Now that I am going to be really pouring myself into this pathway, I don't think I'm going to wind up building up this channel. And quite frankly, even the fact that I revived this channel and started getting it to go for about a month or so before I had that kind of insight and pivot, I think that that was actually a part of the miracle that I didn't see. The inspiration to do this channel, it led me in sharing some of my old videos to have to rewatch them. And it was from rewatching some of them and deciding which ones I would share with you that I was reminded of things I've told others that I needed to hear. The thing about the purpose and passion to prosperity, I needed to hear that. That was what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. That, in fact, that watching that and uploading that, that was it. That a few days before I had the insight, that was the trigger. And so I think that this has served its purpose. And once again, I was trying to do something for you to give, just to give. But it wound up blessing me. And maybe that's kind of the story of life. As we give, we receive. Yeah. And I think we are complete. Thank you for being with me in this time. And I hope that you will enjoy watching the miraculous stories I've uploaded and all the content I've uploaded on this channel. There's not a lot of it. There are maybe not even a dozen videos. So, yeah, if you're seeing this, then I hope you'll take the time to take that in and may it bless you. May it bless you. Happy 2023. That's all for now. Bye bye.